Welcome to Agoracom's Small Cap Breaking News.
Your daily go-to source for the best small cap headlines for over 65 million investors since 2007.
Right.
We've got a lot to cover today.
We do.
You buckle up.
So today we're zeroing in on some news from the small cap world.
Absolutely, some potentially market-moving news.
Exactly.
You know, we've got companies making strategic moves, hitting those big milestones that investors are looking for.
Yeah, I think for me, when I see a company doing something strategic, especially in the small cap space, that gets me really excited.
It's a sign that they're not just sitting on their assets. They're actually trying to build something bigger.
Exactly. It shows they're thinking ahead.
So let's dive into these headlines and see what's driving investor interest right now.
First up, we've got news from the drone technology sector.
Always an exciting area.
Yeah, definitely.
Lots of innovation happening there.
Big headline here. Dragonfly partners with Balko Technologies to advance modular LiDAR drone solutions across North America.
Wow, that's a mouthful.
It is a mouthful, but it's exciting.
It is.
This is trading on the CSE exchange under the symbol DPRO, and also listed on the NASDAQ as DPRO.
So investors have multiple ways to get in on this, U.S. and Canadian exchanges.
The key part here is the emphasis on a strategic alliance, elevating data-driven drone capabilities for industrial and environmental markets.
So what's the big deal? What's the takeaway for someone watching this space?
Well, for starters, you've got Dragonfly, an established drone player.
Yeah, they've been around for a while.
They're teaming up with Balko Technologies, who are specialists in LiDAR sensor technology.
LiDAR? Oh, yeah. Think of that as using lasers to create really detailed 3D maps.
From the air, right.
Exactly, from the air.
So we're not just talking about taking pictures anymore.
This is next level.
It's like X-ray vision for drones.
I like that.
So this partnership, it aims to integrate Balko's sensors into Dragonfly's drone platforms,
making their drones even more powerful and versatile.
Yeah, you could do so much more with that kind of data.
So let's get into the specifics. What are they actually putting together?
Okay, so Balko's modular connective LiDAR sensor is being integrated into two of Dragonfly's platforms.
Okay, which ones?
The Commander 3XL and Apex platforms.
All right, solid platforms to start with.
What I find really interesting from an investor's point of view is the plug-and-play aspect.
Plug and play, what do you mean by that?
So imagine being able to swap out different components on the drone.
Oh, like switching out the camera for a LiDAR unit?
Exactly, or even changing the navigation system.
So you can customize the drone for different jobs?
Without needing a whole new drone.
It's huge from a cost perspective.
It's all about flexibility and efficiency.
And that could really appeal to a wider market.
Absolutely. It's not just for one specific industry anymore.
Now, are there any signs that this is actually gaining traction?
Yes, and this is where it gets exciting.
Okay, I'm listening.
Multiple purchase orders have already been placed.
Oh, wow. So there's actual demand.
Real demand. And get this, one delivery was completed in Q1.
So they're not just talking, they're delivering.
That's right.
That's a great sign for investors.
Plus, Balko isn't just a partner. They're also becoming a North American distributor for Dragonfly.
So they're putting their money where their mouth is.
Exactly. They're expanding the sales reach significantly.
And that could mean more revenue for both companies.
All right, let's shift gears to another sector.
Right. What have we got?
Climate risk.
Oh, this is a hot topic these days.
No pun intended.
All right.
The headline reads, AISIX Solutions, Inc., selected by MNP to support wildfire risk modeling services for Canadian businesses. And they're trading on the TSX Venture Exchange under the symbol AISX, and also on the OTCQB as AISXF.
Got it.
MNP is a major professional services firm.
Yeah, big player.
So AISIX is providing advanced wildfire risk modeling support to MNP's clients.
So they're helping businesses assess their risk from wildfires.
Exactly, and this is becoming increasingly important.
Especially with climate change.
Yeah, we're seeing more and more extreme weather events.
Yeah. So how exactly are they doing this? What's the technology behind it?
So AISX has this massive data set called Wildfire 3.0.
Wildfire 3.0.
Yeah, it's built on over 30 million simulated fire events.
Wow, that's a lot of data.
It is, and that's what allows them to provide such detailed risk assessments.
So they're using AI to model these events.
Exactly.
And who are they targeting with this? What kind of clients?
Their clients are in sectors like agriculture, energy finance, real estate, even government.
So a wide range of industries that could be impacted by wildfires.
And this isn't just about looking at past data.
Right, because you need to know what's coming in the future.
Exactly. They're providing future projections all the way out to 2040 to 2060.
Wow, that's long-term planning.
And it's crucial for things like insurance and investment decisions.
Being able to quantify that risk is so important for businesses.
It's about making informed decisions.
All right, let's move on to our next headline.
Okay, this one takes us to the critical metals space.
Always a sector with a lot of interest, especially with the whole supply chain situation globally.
For sure. The headline is, Quantum Critical Metals unveils breakthrough discovery of high-grade gallium rubidium and critical metals in Quebec.
High grade, those are the words that get investors excited.
Definitely. And this company is trading on the TSX Venture Exchange under the symbol LEAP.
Okay, LEAP.
They're also on the OTCQB as ATOXF, and in Frankfurt under the symbol 86A1.
The global reach.
The headline highlights new assays confirm 150-meter intervals of high-value metals at Discovery Project.
So they've been drilling and finding good stuff.
And they're finding it over significant intervals, which is really important.
Yeah, that suggests a potentially sizable deposit.
Exactly, and that's what makes this a standout discovery.
Especially with all the focus on securing domestic sources of critical minerals.
So let's dive into these assay results.
Okay, what are the numbers looking like?
They're looking pretty impressive. They re-examined historical drill core and found high concentrations over those 150-meter intervals.
I like that they're re-examining old data. Sometimes there are hidden gems in there.
You never know what you might find.
So what did they find?
Average grades of 38 grams per ton of gallium.
38 grams per ton? That's pretty good.
And a whopping 694 grams per ton of rubidium.
Wow, those are some serious grades, especially over that length.
Along with niobium, cesium, and tantalum.
So a whole suite of critical metals.
And this is in Quebec.
Stable jurisdiction, good mining infrastructure.
This could be a big deal for North American supply chain independence.
Absolutely, especially with those export restrictions we've been seeing.
Okay, let's pivot to precious metals now. Gogold Resources reports steady Q2 production as Peril cash flow fuels Los Ricos development push. Gogold is on the TSX, symbol GGD, and OTCQX GLGDF.
The headline emphasizes steady production, over 555,000 silver equivalent ounces produced in Q2 2025. Consistency is always good to see in mining.
Absolutely. So their Peril operation is the workhorse here.
Yes. Peril generated the cash flow. The release breaks down the production: 210,289 ounces of silver, 3,279 ounces of gold, plus copper and zinc. It all adds up to that 555,479 silver equivalent ounce total.
And that cash flow isn't just sitting there, right? It's funding development elsewhere.
Correct. That's the strategic focus. The money from Peril is being plowed into advancing their Los Ricos projects. Los Ricos South is moving into permitting, and Los Ricos North is still in the exploration phase.
So using current production to build the pipeline for future growth.
Precisely. It shows financial discipline and a clear growth strategy. Investors often like to see that reinvestment model working.
Makes sense. All right, let's go back to silver for our next headline.
Okay, back to the shiny stuff.
The headline is, Silver X Mining confirms major resource expansion at Nueva Recuperada project in Peru.
Resource expansion, that's what we like to hear.
This company is trading on the TSX Venture Exchange under the symbol AGX.
Okay.
AGX.
Also on the OTCQB as AGXF. AGXPF, and on the FSE under the symbol AGX.
Those are real covered.
The big news here is new NI 43-101 report shows 70% increase in contained silver.
Wow, 70%, that's huge.
It's a massive jump.
So this is a big deal for the company and for investors.
Absolutely. An NI 43-101 report, that's the industry standard for disclosing mineral resources.
So these numbers are reliable.
It's not just speculation.
So break down the details. What exactly did they find?
Measured and indicated silver resources increased by 70% to 14 million ounces.
14 million ounces, that's a solid base. And the inferred silver resources increased by over 50% to a whopping 88 million ounces.
Wow, so there's potentially a lot more silver there.
They also saw significant increases in their zinc and lead resources.
So it's not just a silver story.
It's a multi-metal project.
And that can make it even more attractive to investors.
This resource expansion puts Silver X's Plata mining unit in a really strong position.
Yeah, it's becoming a cornerstone asset for them.
And it really supports their ambition to become a leading silver producer in South America.
They're well on their way.
For sure. All right, one last headline for today.
Okay, bring it on.
This one's about gold. Freeman Gold's Lemhi project surges to $648 million post-tax NPV at $2,900 gold. A bull market breakthrough.
Wow. With gold prices where they are, this is definitely catching people's attention.
This company trades on the TSX Venture Exchange under the symbol FMAN, also on the OTCQB as FMANF, and on the FSE under the symbol 3WU.
So lots of options for investors.
The headline really emphasizes the updated economic model, highlighting strong leverage to gold and robust returns.
So they're basically saying, hey, higher gold prices make our project even more valuable.
Exactly. And the numbers really back that up.
Okay, let's have them.
At a spot gold price of $2,900 per ounce, the project now has a post-tax NPV of $648 million.
$648 million, that's a big number.
And an IRR of 45.9%.
Wow, almost 46%. That's incredible.
With a payback period of just 2.1 years.
So they're getting their money back quickly.
And even if we use a more conservative gold price of $2,200, the NPV is still a healthy $329 million.
So even if gold pulls back a bit, this project still looks good.
Exactly. And the initial capex is relatively low at $215 million.
So not a huge upfront investment.
Making it even more attractive to investors.
So there you have it, folks, a whirlwind tour of some exciting small cap news.
We covered strategic partnerships, tech advancements, resource discoveries, and some impressive financial results.
All pointing to companies that are actively growing and creating value.
Now, for you, the listener, this is your starting point.
Yeah, it's a jumping off point for further research.
You've got to dig deeper into these companies,
Yeah.
read their filings, look at their management teams.
And decide for yourself which ones are worth investing in.
Hey, but these headlines and these numbers, they're the sparks.
They're the things that get you interested.
That make you want to learn more.
So what stood out to you from today's deep dive?
What caught your eye?
Was it the drone technology, the climate risk modeling, the critical metals discovery, the precious metals production, the resource expansion, or the gold project economics?
Each of these stories has the potential to become much bigger.
And early investors are the ones who could reap the rewards.
So do your homework, stay informed, and as always, happy investing.
That's it for this deep dive. We'll catch you next time.
See ya.
Bye.